What's in a question? Maybe just about everything important. A smart and sharp question should strike up the most engaging of conversations. So let's have ourselves a little discussion. Diane joins us in the studio. Good morning, Diane.
Good morning. Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday. And thank you for bringing another interesting topic.
Yes.
We have some people discussing it on our YouTube message boards as well. Give us the question, the topic of conversation today, one more time.
Right. So question, can AIs be inventors? So since the time of cavemen, every technological discovery has been made by a human being. The digging stick, the scraper, the wheel, the car, penicillin. For many years, nobody challenged a worldwide legal approach that only a human being can be an inventor. And several weeks ago, Lena and I talked about how AIs are also becoming creators themselves and whether they should hold patents and copyrights on their creations. So today's topic is a follow-up on that one because the Korean Intellectual Property Office recently made its final judgment that artificial intelligence cannot be an inventor.
Cannot.
Cannot. They
Okay.
cannot be an inventor.
Let's take a look at some of the opinions of our listeners. Looking up, they said one of our listeners on the board says, first, you must establish what artificial intelligence is. This is from
Right.
Tigrish Eeyore. It is when it has gained sentience and has become self-aware. If it's not sentient, then is it just a tool? So
Right.
it's a very philosophical question right there.
Yes, it is. So that's why answering to this question is very, very tricky, and therefore a lot of research has go into it. But right now, South Korea stands with opinion that AI cannot be an inventor right now.
But this topic, this question, when did this actually all come about?
So it goes way back to 2018. An American scientist and inventor, Dr. Stephen Thaler, created an AI device for the autonomous bootstrapping of unified sentience, DABUS, and tried to change the established view. So in 2018 to 2018, Dr. Thaler conducted a fascinating experiment that was eventually only a first step in a long road to understanding if AI can be a creator, innovator, and inventor. This discussion became hot after DABUS, without any human help, created an improved food container that used fractal geometry to change its shape. So Dr. Thaler submitted patent applications in several countries naming AI as the inventor. The prosecution of applications went in different directions in different countries.
We had paintings. I recently saw a painting that was drawn by AI.
Right.
And it was a series of paintings. And I think it was titled like Human Evolution or something. So the AI it started out drawing pictures of monkeys, and then it evolved into caveman, and then a medieval, you could kind of see elements of medieval man,
Right.
and then modern man, and then we became these cybertronic beings. And then towards the end of it, it looked like we just became a part of microchip or just a part of some sort of a
Right.
hardware.
Yeah.
And I saw this actually this morning. I didn't know we were going to talk about this, but when something like that happens, that painting is not drawn by a human.
Right. It's drawn by a computer program.
Yeah. But then how do you... So do you give the credit of that painting to the
Yeah.
programmer
Right.
of the AI?
So that's the problem. Right now, we don't know who should get the credit for, right? So because South Korea Intellectual Property Office says artificial intelligence cannot be an inventor, right now, the person who designed it gets the patent, I think, the right.
The
I think.
original programmer.
Right, the
gets
original programmer.
So what are the opinions of other countries other than South Korea?
So the patent offices in the UK, EU, and the US rejected granting inventorship to an AI machine, pointing out that an inventor must be a human being, not a machine. Nevertheless, the patent applications went off the road in South Africa and Australia. In June 2021, South Africa became the first first country globally to accept the possibility for an AI to be an inventor. Now, you may find the following text in the inventor's name line. Davos, the invention was automatically generated by an artificial intelligence. The following month, the Federal Court of Australia sided with Dr. Thaler and overturned the Australian Patent Office's decision to reject granting inventorship to an AI machine. Here is a very testimonial paragraph from the court's opinion. Who is the inventor? And if a human is required, who? The programmer, the owner, the operator, the trainer, the person who provided input data, all of the above, none of the above? In my view, in some cases, it may mean none of the above. In some cases, the better analysis is to say that the system itself is the inventor that would reflect reality, unquote.
Okay. And to go back, bring it back to the Korean perspective a little bit, what were the exact reasoning or the statements from the Korean Intellectual Property Office that got them to declare that AI cannot be an inventor?
So according to the office, on the 28th of last month, the office issued a disposition of invalidity for a patent application claiming to have been invented by AI on the ground that applications for patents made by AIs other than natural persons are not permitted. An official from the office explained if a disposition of invalidity is issued for a patent application, the application will be deemed not to exist from the beginning. But this is just the beginning of this question. Can AIs be inventors? This question is likely be the first of many around the area of AI and new creations.
Yeah, and I think, I don't know, the topic, this is not the end of the conversation.
Of course.
Over this subject. And I get the patent office or the government entity first need to ask, does AI have the ability to invent?
Right. So even if AI cannot be listed as an inventor in a legal sense, do we believe AI can invent? Well, in my perspective, I think AIs can invent. According to the Merriam-Webster dictionary, it defines invent as to produce for the first time through the use of the imagination or of ingenious thinking and experiment. If we were saying only imagination and ingenious thinking applied, then maybe AI does not invent. However, inventions are frequently the outcome of experimentation, and in that sense, AI does invent. As examples, AI can create art by combining newly supplied patterns in various ways. It has seen patterns combined before. AI can generate code, which implies generating a solution to a problem with that solution manifested as code. So in that sense, because it's made through experiment, AI can become an inventors.
Okay, but let's take a couple step back.
Right.
Why does this all matter? You know, if we assume that AI can invent, well, what is the big thing? What's the matter if AI can be listed as an inventor or not? Because
of the patent and how patent can make money, and it all relates to businesses. For this, a bit of background on patents may help. Companies protect intellectual property in several ways, patents being one major way. Patents require one or more inventors who make a legally binding statement that they created the invention. The mechanics of patents require that the inventor list be precise and complete, meaning that any person who contributed to the invention should be listed and no one who did not contribute should. The company also becomes the assignee of the invention. The IP rights of the company are then protected via this patent.
Okay, so if an AI creates something that the business wants to protect with a patent, then the extension goes to the, like we talked about, the human.
Yeah. So
in certain countries.
Yes. So one could argue that the human or humans that created the AI are the inventors of the AI, and by extension, anything it creates. However, per the above definition, one could also argue the humans would be breaking the law by claiming to be the inventor if they had no awareness of the AI software making this creation. This approach gets even trickier pretty quickly. The AI could have been created years ago and recently learned something new with new data. In this case, who is the right human inventor? Is it the person who wrote the original AI or the person who trained it recently right before it created its invention? What if neither was working on at the company when the AI created this invention? What if the AI was created at a company A and sold to company B where it made its creation while running on on companies B's computers under the supervision of company B's employees. So the question gets trickier as AI becomes more pervasive in even as simple a form as helping a human explore options by generating experiments. It will have a role in inventions. Companies will want to protect the inventions. There is anecdotal evidence that companies have already been prevented from filing patents when an AI has been involved in the invention's creation. This can easily become a blocker for businesses. So that's why it's important for us to talk about this matter of question.
Okay, so I think it's a little bit hard for me to fully grasp and understand. I could only imagine how hard it is for our listeners who may be just driving right now or cooking breakfast, and they're trying to decipher through this philosophical thought process. Let's skip a couple of questions ahead. We had some Hollywood actually took a stab at this several times, right? One famous movie that I could think about is Will Smith's I, Robot.
Yes.
Right? And they were it was a movie about robot rights, right?
Right, robot rights and how they become thinkers themselves.
Right. And it was an AI taking control of that city/country that Will Smith was living in and basically determining what it thought was the rightful future for humans and robots alike. But on that issue a little bit, similar on that line, you also have to kind of look at whether patent judges have to look at whether AI can be considered a person or not.
Right. If you look at the decisions that have been made so far regarding AI as patent investors, a lot of it came down to whether the judges in question considered an AI to be equivalent to a natural person. There are other implications of such decision. If we determined an AI to be a natural person for the purpose of invention, what else are they natural person for? Do other aspects of we attribute to people, such as right of ownership, responsibilities, and accountabilities also apply? So if we apply the natural person to AI, are they going to hold responsibility if something goes wrong? Like, can we blame the AI? Will they be able to take responsible for their wrongdoings? The question is really, really tricky.
In certain aspects of the legal code, they consider a corporation to have similar characteristics to a person.
Right, a natural person.
Right. And when that legal code and practice was first implemented, now more than several hundred years ago, people were questioning, how can a company, a corporation, be treated as a person?
Right.
And I feel like we're at a similar crossroads now, where we're trying to give on a certain aspect of technology certain protections that a human would be getting.
Right.
And in a decade or a couple of decades from now, we'll look back at this juncture in history and we'll say, okay, we made the right decision, we made the wrong decision. Nobody knows. History will tell. But obviously with more businesses trying to develop artificial intelligence, I mean, it's the new hot topic, new tech industries, channels of generating revenue and new businesses. More and more will likely rely on either AIs or a combination of humans and AIs to generate new inventions, new products, et cetera, et cetera. So trying to figure out these questions are vital for future businesses.
Right. So we do need
and society
to
in general.
So we do need to address this question and give answers to, even if it takes a long time. If these inventions cannot be legally protected, the businesses will suffer. The question of who owns those creations for any definition of the word ownership is a serious business question and one that the laws will need to ultimately answer. So whether you agree with the US, UK, South Korea, or Australia and South Africa, is it fair to say that the question being raised by these filing is critically important. The right answer, however, may not be yes or no to AI being credited as a human would be credited. Over time, the better answer may be to recognize that AIs can invent and modify the patent law for the practical accommodations of AI involvement on patents.
Yes, and it's also going to take some time to have a congruent standardized international rule of law pertaining to this.
Right.
As you brought, several countries have different opinions. And so it's not going to be something that's going to be solved in a matter of years,
Right.
probably in a matter of decades.
Yeah.
And as technology continues to improve and evolve.
Right. More and more questions will appear for sure.
It's scary though, AI, the speed of its evolution. It's some people say that it's a bad thing, like the movie Terminator.
Right. I think because of those scary movies, it kind of creates the sentiment on the public that it can go wrong. But I don't know. I'm a more positive believer in AIs.
I don't know where I read this, but they say that a lot of the predictions in sci-fi
Are
tend to
true.
come to true, tend to become reality.
Right.
So
Let's cross our fingers.
absolutely be cautious
Yes.
as well.
Yes, of course.
Diane, thank you so much for your time.
I'll see you tomorrow.
Okay, bye-bye.